Chapter 19. We're in Sergio's apartment and he's on his way up. What do we do? I panicked. I flew out of the bedroom and into the living room. We have to leave, I said. I wrenched open the front door, motioning for Maya to follow.
What's going on?
She asked. Sergio's part of the cartel, I said. We ran into the hallway. Muffin followed behind with her pizza box. Let's use the stairs, I said, scurrying as fast as my legs would carry me. Sergio would most likely take the elevator. If we did too, we would end up running into him. I flung the staircase door open. I immediately spotted the top of Sergio's head. He was running up the stairs and rounding the corner.
Nadia,
he shouted. I retreated through the door and into the hallway, taking Maya with me. There was no way we could wait for the elevator with Sergio nearing our floor. We have to barricade ourselves in his apartment. We hustled to the apartment and secured the door as best as we could. Muffin gave the door one last thump with her fist and knocked it into place. Find something to block the door with, I said, searching for something big and heavy to wedge into place. He doesn't have anything in his apartment. Get the bed.
I got this,
Muffin said, plopping herself down in front of the door. The doorknob turned, my eyes glued to the knob, waiting for it to turn again. Sergio knocked.
open the door.
He ordered. Maya, call the police, I said loud enough for Sergio to hear.
I can shoot my way inside and kill you before the police arrive.
Sergio said. Muffin gulped down a bite of pizza.
I didn't sign up for this. I don't want any part of shooting or police. You guys are all crazy. Who goes around finding a secret trophy and having shootouts with the mafia? You do.
We're not the mafia. The mafia is Italian.
You're not helping, I barked.
I'm out of here,
Muffin said.
I have my new life and husband to think about. I can't get mixed up in this.
Your fake husband, you mean?
I've decided to keep him. He's clean. I'll have my own apartment. He has a steady stream of money coming in, and he's not all up in my business.
And he likes men, I argued.
All the better for me. I don't need no man chasing me around the bedroom, groping me all over.
Can you argue later? Let me in and I can explain everything.
Explain what?
Muffin snipped.
How you used Nadia to steal the trophy. How you broke her heart. How you have gun-toting friends who shot bullets at her.
My jaw dropped open so wide a softball could have been wedged into my mouth. Broke my heart? That was off the mark. I was a little wounded from thinking he was harmless to then finding he was anything but harmless. Just like a man to pretend he's something that he's not.
She was completely safe. They have orders not to harm her. They got a little excited when you blew through the barricade.
Did you see the bullet holes in the car?
Muffin argued.
So, now you're the big shot in the mafia. Are you the godfather?
We aren't the mafia. Do I look like a godfather?
Then who are you? I asked.
Please let me explain face to face.
I felt a small tug on my arm. Maya was ogling me with her large doe eyes.
Hear him out. I believe he won't hurt you.
But he was in the black SUV. He's one of them,
I was one of them.
he said through the door.
I had to be. It was because of you that I returned to them again. I know you've seen too many sides of me to understand the real me, but those were for show. When I hugged you by the moped today, that was the real me.
Oh,
Maya gushed and bounced in place.
let him in.
Teetering on whether to let him in, a new concern was developing. Where was David? Did the cartel capture him? Where's Dee? I asked, not wanting to say David's name.
He was at the abandoned office building watching from the inside. He's waiting for my call.
He must have been the person in the building I kept hearing. Now it made sense why he was keeping a low profile. Maya had been there. If David trusted Sergio enough to risk his wife's life, then maybe I should trust Sergio too. Maybe. Where's Dagor?
He ran for it once he couldn't use you as a shield anymore. His only bargaining chip was smashed on the ground.
Let him in, I said with a sigh. Maya bounced in her spot while Muffin moved over and yanked the door open. Sergio stepped through and closed the door. Call D, I demanded. Sergio eyed me as he pulled out his phone. His face was unreadable. There was no sign of any emotion, just blank. Empty. I shivered.
Hey, it's Sergio. Yeah, I'm here. Did you find Dagor?
I watched as he paced, his eyes catching mine on every pass.
They're here.
He said.
Yeah, her too.
I want to speak with him.
Nadia wants to speak with you.
Sergio said, handing me the phone. I pressed it to my ear. Tell me what's going on,
There's a lot going on right now.
David said. Hearing his voice instantly relaxed me.
You always seem to be right in the middle.
That's your fault. Are you coming over here?
I'll be around, but I won't come inside. Keep Maya in the apartment until I can find Dagor.
Am I supposed to trust Sergio? I asked David. Sergio glanced warily at me.
We're teaming up for now. Until I find what I came for, I'm focusing on that. Did you happen to see anything when the trophy was smashed?
Yes, I said, not wanting to give too much information over the cell phone. David might trust Sergio, but I wasn't sure. And he could have his cell phone bugged. I didn't want information leaking out and compromising an already compromising situation. David paused a moment.
Do you have it?
Yes.
In a few minutes, tell Sergio you need to stop by the corner store. He's going to want to come with you. Make sure he doesn't. Meet me there.
But... I listened to David disconnect. He said to trust Sergio, but now he's telling me to sneak out of the apartment.
What's wrong?
Sergio asked. Mixed signals, I said, handing him back his phone.
Meaning?
I'm still not sure if I trust you, I said.
If I was going to harm you, I would have done it as soon as I walked through the door.
He said, shoving the phone back into his pocket. I shrugged. So what's the plan?
D is keeping his eye out for Dagor. My guys are searching the debris and scouting for the French guy and Katerina.
Why do you want them?
We don't. However, we don't want them getting in the way.
He's a government agent, isn't he?
From what D and I can figure out, he's an agent based in French Guiana. He may have gone rogue. He's not acting right. Something happened to make him want the trophy beyond the call of duty.
He was on tilt since the poker tournament.
He was there?
Yes, I had to play him and ended up knocking him out of the tournament. He wasn't happy. Sergio was thoughtful for a moment. What's the big secret? I asked. You know what it is. If I have to trust you, then you have to trust me.
It doesn't matter because it's lost.
It does matter because my life is still on the line. Muffin chewed on a slice of pizza, eyeing Sergio.
I think that's fair. You've got us all running around like crazy chickens, and we don't even know why. Now we're holed up in your apartment with no decent furniture. I want to know, what's the big secret?
I can't tell you.
He said. Muffin tossed her pizza box onto the card table. She slammed Sergio up against the wall, pinning him with her forearm.
Muffin, stop that.
Maya scolded her.
No, I'm getting to the bottom of this. He can either tell us what he knows, or he can take a ride in an ambulance.
Sergio grasped at Muffin's arm, struggling to free himself. He was no match for her. No one was a match for her.
I'll tell you what I know.
He gasped.
All of it!
She demanded.
Don't try to give us some lousy watered-down version.
Okay.
He said, still struggling. He couldn't win against Muffin's brute strength, but I didn't think he was going to tell us the whole story. Any information would be better than what I had now. Nothing. Muffin released Sergio. He rubbed his chest where she'd pinned him.
Did you ever think of becoming a professional wrestler?
He asked.
I've been asked that before, but I don't like their outfits. Start talking, or I'll show you my other moves.
Sergio smirked at her like she was just smoke in the air. I didn't expect that reaction from him, but then again, I didn't know what to expect from him.
It's a long story.
He said.
So start talking.
She growled. He sighed and collected his thoughts. When he began, his eyes were far away, searching his past.
I was born into the Ortugas family in Colombia. I'm the second son born to Diego Marciano Ortugas. He was head of the family and the business.
What business? I asked. He winced.
It started as a drug ring, but they've expanded to prostitution and counterfeiting. Anything on the black market is fair game.
He surveyed me for any type of emotional feedback, but I didn't let anything show.
My father was murdered, and my brother was first in line to take his place. This might be a horrible thing to say because I loved my father, but I was glad he was gone. He ran the family business with a steel fist, and he hurt countless people. It's a bloody and horrifying business, even on the inside. When my brother took over, I requested to leave the family. No one is allowed to leave the business once they've been on the inside. There was no love between the two of us, so he was glad to see me leave. His spot as head of the household was secured. That, and my mother forbade him to kill me.
Damn, it's like a royal family and the mafia rolled into one.
Muffin said.
You don't look like you came from a family like that.
I cut all ties with the family years ago and was successful at keeping it that way until a couple of months ago.
What about the family I met? Who were they? I asked.
I met them a few years ago and they adopted me into their family. They are very sweet. I wish I was related to them.
Okay, now get on with the secret trophy part.
Muffin demanded.
From what I was told, my brother found a government agent spying on the business. He had him executed. He found out days later the agent had a partner who was still in town. My brother ordered a search to find him and execute him too. But the agent found my brother first and killed him. This was about 6 months ago. There was a funeral service that I didn't go to. I was shocked to hear his body had been stolen, which caused a family uprising. They ultimately buried an empty coffin. 2 months ago, we got wind my brother's alive. Samples of blood work with DNA evidence was uncovered and linked to him. It is believed he's at a hospital undergoing massive reconstructive surgery. With my brother's death, my cousin attempted to take over as head of the family. I didn't care because I'd washed my hands of the family, but with this evidence comes a storm of problems.
Like what? I asked.
If my brother is alive, his return home will tear apart the family. Those who have already sided with my cousin will not be loyal to my brother. There will be a war within the family, and many lives outside of our own family will be lost. There has been talk that he's been hiding in French Guiana. If he's alive, there are plenty of governments that want him extradited. They'll take military action if they have to. Also, there are unfriendly drug families that want him dead and want my cousin to take over the family so they can join forces. To move forward, they must make sure he is dead. At first, I was going to ignore it. I didn't want anything to do with the family, and the military or warring drug families could have him for all I cared. He ruled the family business with violent fury. But then my mom found me. She begged me to help. If my cousin took over, she would be executed, and they would come for me next to make sure I wouldn't threaten his power. So, here I am, back in the family business. I've rounded up those who are still loyal to my brother and my father before him.
If your brother is alive, he must know what's happening. Why is he keeping his existence a secret?
So many people want him dead. I can only assume he's buying time to form a plan.
How did Daegor get involved? I asked.
My cousin hired him. Since Daegor wasn't part of the family, he could work without prying eyes. He had worked with them before, on counterfeiting. Daegor came to me shortly after my mother found me. He didn't know I was part of the Ortugas family and wanted my help finding you and obtaining the trophy. I took the job to keep him at bay and to protect you. It seems as if everything was pushing me to this one spot.
And if your brother is dead like it was assumed?
Then I go back to the family and slowly run the business into the ground. Hopefully, I don't get killed in the process. The likelihood that I'll walk away alive is slim.
His eyes darkened into shadows. I shivered and felt the pressing weight from his burden. How is Dee involved?
He's working for a special interest and has been watching my family for a couple of years. I'm not sure what their intention is, but they want the information like everyone else.
I was struggling to wrap my head around this. Sergio, the head of a drug family? And here I originally thought he was goofy and awkward. And if he's alive?
Then I find him and bring him back. If he's alive, then he's hiding and up to no good. He needs to end this before it gets out of hand.
You're already a mile beyond that.
Muffin said. Why was the information inside the trophy? Why didn't they just email the data?
I've known for quite some time that my brother was tapping into my email and phone calls. I'm assuming my cousin is monitoring me now. Other drug families will hack into accounts too. And the military can use their own resources to do whatever they want. Either way, anything sent electronically would be at risk. Everyone in the family circle knows not to use email or phone. The trophy was made in French Guiana, where the DNA sample was taken. It was then sent to Panama to go undetected by customs. It was supposed to be traded out with the real trophy by our casino insiders, but there was a mix-up. Uncle Santos owns the casino, so it should have been an easy swap.
Uncle Santos owns the casino?
How else could he afford all of his airplanes?
He could have flown me in a better plane. Sergio's lips twitched into a smile weighted with darkness. Oh no, I just told David I had the card while I was on the phone, and I sent the file to my email address. If either of those were intercepted, they will know I have it. Sergio's phone rang.
Yes?
I watched him carefully to see if there was any expression change.
Where is he?
Sergio's eyes rested on me, and a chill of the unknown creeped inside.
I'll be right there.
Where are you going? I asked as he ended the call.
They think they've found Dagor and possibly Pierre.
If Sergio left, then I was free to meet David before anyone would miss me.
Stay here.
He ordered.
Muffin, you're in charge of the door.
This is getting old,
She said.
I've got my new apartment to rearrange.
It's still my apartment, I said.
Then why is your furniture out in the hallway?
Because you put it there. Sergio gave me a kiss on the cheek and ducked out of the apartment. Muffin shut the door after him. Maya slid up to me.
Why didn't you tell him?
Tell him what?
Muffin asked. Nothing, I said. I'm going to the corner store,
But it's too dangerous.
Maya said.
Sergio said to stay here.
He's also currently the head of a drug family. I'm not doing what he says. Muffin, let me out.
Why should I?
Because if I die while I'm at the store, then you can have my apartment free and clear. But you have to feed Gus. Muffin pried the door open.
Bon voyage!
Muffin!
Maya scolded. I'll be back soon, I said, running before either could shut the door in front of me. I waited a couple of minutes before I pressed the elevator button, allowing Sergio enough time to leave the building without accidentally running into him. I tapped my foot in the elevator. My priority was to find David and ask him why he wanted the memory card. I understood why Sergio wanted it, and I was okay with it. From what I understood of our conversation, he had to stop a drug war or a family war, maybe even military action. Either way, stopping a war is a good thing. I wasn't sure what David's plan was. I stepped onto the dark street. Only a few streetlights lit my path to the corner store, which was 4 or 5 blocks down the road. I trekked quickly, turning to peek behind me every so often. It was eerie on the dark road knowing I had the key to a wanted drug lord's DNA. I focused on the sound of my footsteps. If I only had to think about footsteps, then I didn't have to think about anything else. Not Sergio being part of a drug family, secret DNA, Grayson and Fiona, and not even my destroyed apartment. It's just me and my footsteps. And someone else's. I quickened my pace to a near jog. The footsteps matched mine. I flashed my eyes behind me while I ran faster. It was Daegor.
I know you have it.
Daegor shouted, keeping up with me. He was only a few feet away. His arm reached out to capture me. I don't have it. Daegor whacked his arm across my back. I stumbled and tripped on a sidewalk crack. Unable to catch myself, my skin grated against the concrete as I crashed to the ground. Daegor clutched the back of my shirt.
Your phone call was monitored. We know you have it. Sergio was lured away so you could leave.
So, the phone call had been monitored. If his laptop was monitored, they wouldn't need the memory card or me because they'd already have the information. They didn't know I'd sent the information to my email. Sergio's men were obviously not loyal to him. At least they didn't have the information. Yet. You can have it. Let me reach into my pocket and get it. I could put up a struggle and accidentally destroy the card. Daegor drew his gun and pointed it at my head.
If you try anything funny, I'll shoot you and take it from your dead corpse.
I reached into my pocket. Wrapping my fingers around the memory card, I pushed my thumb in the middle to snap it in half. The rigid plastic hardly bent, let alone snapped. My hand slipped back out of my pocket, leaving the memory card behind. I must have lost it. It must have fallen out of my pocket.
Don't lie to me. I said I'd shoot you and I will.
His finger squeezed the trigger.
Say goodbye, bitch.
I have it. Please don't shoot me, I screeched.
Hand it over.
I reached into my pocket again, brought out the memory card, and passed it to him. He snatched it from my fingers, letting out a thick, dark laugh.
Say goodnight, Nadia.
He sneered as his finger moved back onto the trigger. No, wait, I begged. Please don't.
I already told you I was going to kill you after I got the information.
There isn't anything on the memory card. I erased it. Daegor's eyes darkened.
You'd better be joking or the Ortugas family will cut you to shreds. And I'll be there to watch every horrid detail with a smile on my face.
They're just using you. Do you think Sergio would keep you around?
Sergio is a weakling. His cousin hired me and I only answer to him.
Daegor smiled.
Oh, I almost forgot.
He extracted a silencer from his pocket with a grin that twitched at the corners. His fingers quickly attached it to his gun while he kept his eyes glued to me. But what about the information I erased? I asked. Won't they need it?
I've decided I don't give a shit what they want. I was hired to obtain the memory card and I have it. If there isn't anything on it, it's not my problem.
He turned his gun on me. A smile slithered to his face. I was momentarily blinded by bright headlights from a car barreling down the road. Run into the light. The gypsy had said it, and I had no options. The car was speeding down the street behind Daegor. It was my only chance of being rescued. I snatched the memory card from Daegor and dashed into the road, flagging the racing car to stop. It was too close, and the speed was too fast. I knew there was no way the car could stop in time, nor could I move out of the way. I squeezed my eyes shut, knowing I wouldn't survive.